Thank you everyone for attending this talk. This is joint work with Alisa, Chang, Badih, Ghazi, and Ravi, Kumar. We study clustering problems for which the general form is as follows. We are given a set X of points in R to the D, and we would like our clustering algorithm to output a set of centers that will represent the points. Now, there are multiple ways to define how well the centers represent the points. Here we use the so-called k-means objective, for which we are trying to find k-centers that minimize the sum of the square of the distance between each input point to its closest center. For the purpose of getting an additive error in differential privacy, we will also assume that the input points belong to the unit ball, which we denote by BD here. There are two popular models of differential privacy. The first is the more relaxed central model, where the clustering algorithm can see the raw input points, and the only requirement is that the output set of centers has to be differentially private. The second model, which is the focus of our work, is the so-called local model, where we think of each input point as being held by a user who can then send a message or multiple messages to the clustering algorithm. The clustering algorithm, upon seeing these messages, then compute the centers. And the goal here is for each user's messages to be differentially private. Now that we have defined the problem and the models, we can state results from previous work and also our own work. The k-means problem has long been known to be NP-hard, and thus people have been studying approximation algorithms for it. In the setting where no privacy is concerned, the best known approximation ratio is currently roughly 6.36 by Ahmadian et al. In the central DP setting, Kaplan and Stemmer gave an algorithm that achieves constant approximation ratio. However, this constant is quite large, and per our own estimate is roughly 100. And thus, last year, we gave an improved approximation algorithm where the approximation ratio can be arbitrarily close to the non-private setting. As usual, in the DP setting, we have to pay a small additive error. And in the case of central DP, this additive error is something like polynomial in dk times log n. Unfortunately, the algorithm from our previous paper doesn't work in the local DP setting. And in this setting, the best known algorithm was that of Stemmer, which achieved a large constant factor approximation and also requires multiple rounds of interaction. On this front, Stemmer posed as an open question whether we can get away with just one round of interaction. In this paper, we answer this question by showing that in one round, we can not only just get a constant approximation ratio, but an approximation ratio that is arbitrarily close to that of the best non-private algorithm. More formally, if there is a non-private approximation algorithm with approximation ratio W star, then we can get an epsilon local DP algorithm that requires only one round that gets an approximation ratio of W star times 1 plus gamma for any parameter gamma, and that additive error that is of the order of square root n times poly dk log n. And note here that the square root n factor here is necessary as proved by Stemmer. For more details about our techniques, please tune in for our long talk. Thank you.